reflect that of this station or its ownership.
Welcome to A Political Talk Show, brought to you by the Multi-Format Network, right here on 1590 WCGO. That's AM for all you cool cats and kittens out there that don't do the digital stuff. If you do the digital stuff, welcome. You could be listening to us on a plethora of podcast platforms. Whichever one is your favorite, go ahead and look for A Political Talk Show. You'll find us right there. Or you could possibly be listening on twitch.tv/multiformat network. We live stream on that every single time we go live here on 1590 WCGO for the A Political Talk Show. Or if you're a YouTuber, YouTube has now become the second most viewed platform for podcasts. So yeah, if you want to be over there, again, go ahead and follow us at Multi-Format Network. But you can find us anywhere on the internet by just looking up A Political Talk Show. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I'm your host for today. And across from the glass, driving the ones and twos, the miraculous man himself. That would be the executive producer extraordinaire, Ben Demonium Boquest. Thank you, sir.
Hey there, yeah, man. Anytime you build me up, man, Buttercup, baby, just put me on a political talk show, and we're killing it every day. We're keeping up with these topics, and giving you the sources that they come from. At least we try to highlight the political leanings sometimes to where these articles are coming from, and give you different opinions or ways to think about these stories, and just try to give it to you straight up objectively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We already know that our audience is smart. We already know and start from that point and say, look, you're reasonable people. You are smart people. Well, otherwise, why would you sit here and listen to talk shows to begin with, or political side? So with that, we don't want to just report the news. We want to report the news, right? Wait. Hold on, is that wait? No. We want to report
the news.
That's what it is. We want to report what's coming out, but we want to make sure that you know where your information is coming from. One of the big sources that we use right here, one of the many tools we use to grade the news, that would be ground.news. Shout out to them.
Love Ground.
Ground.news is a great source to not necessarily get your news from, but know where your news comes from. What is the leaning? What is the makeup of the company? Is it a giant corporation, or is it just an independent mom and pop that's just trying to hold it together? Main Street or Wall Street, it really depends on your news and how you get it and how it's presented to you. So without further ado, let's go a little bit into said news. Now, you said, Ben, you had an article, or at least some numbers, about how we can all agree that there is a problem with the border crisis, if you want to go as far as that. But we can all agree that there is an issue, there is a problem, and there are things that need to be cleaned up over there. So you found an article about the difference between what's happening now and what has happened in the previous administration.
Absolutely. And full disclosure, this was a super easy Google for me. I saw something about the immigration crisis, and it simply Googled immigration numbers / statistics.
That's great.
Yeah.
Where are you getting these numbers from? Is it like a Pew Research? Is it a Gallup?
Yeah. I was led to cato.org.
Okay.
cato.org. Let's see here. The institute is Well, do your own research
Cato.
on Cato.org. The new data, the headline of the article is "New data shows migrants were more likely to be released by Trump than Biden." So, in the obviously the narrative now is like you said, it's so much worse. As far as crisis numbers wise, that's how everyone's saying. I think I saw it. Jim Jordan tweet saying 7 million migrants under Biden. Migrant, what do they call them? Encounters.
Yeah,
which is
essentially
basically
how many
arrests.
that they've had with our people versus somebody trying to come over.
Yes. Yeah.
Encounter.
And the argument against that is that there were less encounters because they weren't finding as many people. You know, they were letting more people go through. Is one of the arguments against it. But neither here nor there. We're going from this article from Cato Institute, Cato.org. Do your own research, Cato.org. New data shows migrants were more likely to be released by Trump than Biden, according to new data published last month. The Biden Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, has removed a higher percentage of arrested border crossers in its first 2 years than Trump DHS over its last 2 years. Skip to the numbers here in absolute terms. The Biden DHS removing 3.5 times as many people per month as the Trump DHS did. These figures are important for understanding how each administration has carried out border enforcement. During the Trump administration, DHS made 1.4 million arrests, what it calls encounters, in the fiscal year 2019 and 2020. Of those people arrested, only 47% were removed, which includes people arrested by Trump and removed by Biden, and 52% were released into the United States. So Trump removed, which includes people arrested by Trump and removed by Biden. 52% were released into the United States. To break that down further, under Biden, DHS made over 5 million arrests in its first 26.3 months, and it removed nearly 2.6 million, or 51%, while releasing only 49%. In other words, the Trump DHS removed a minority of those arrested, while the DHS removed a majority. Biden managed to increase the removal share while also increasing the total removals by a factor of 3.5. So, if you've been paying attention to this migrant crisis and the really border, people paying attention to the border overall, and it's not new in politics, obviously, but it really started becoming a big thing. I remember under Bush, like Bush and Gore, that was like a main thing starting right around there. Probably a little Clinton too. But the idea is always like the same on either side. You know, it got to the point where Obama he deported more than any other president. It's kind of gone down that road since then. So I guess really my question to anybody arguing about this data is, what do they expect to change if we're not changing anything from administration to administration? What do they expect?
Well, what they're hoping.
What's the answer?
Yeah, well, I mean the problem is there's not one answer. What is an answer would be what I hope they're talking about in Congress and everything else. But essentially, part of the Biden administration's plan and what they've helped the Senate put together. So arguably, it is the Senate's plan. Now it's led by the coalition of Democrats. Obviously, Democrats still talk to each other. They don't just say, "Oh no, he's part of the Senate. I'm not allowed to talk to him." No, they're putting together a plan, and part of that plan is more administrative help. And I believe 1,000 patrol officers just for fentanyl itself is what they're hoping to put more in. So this is the issue, is when you turn around and say, well, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed. Okay, well, we need capital to fix this. Okay, well, you're not going to get it. Well, we need an act of Congress to pass these laws so that we can change this. Well, it's an election year. You're not going to get the W. Like that's the issue that we're running into with this. And it's the same way the Obama administration said that they would clean up the border as well, and all they did was continue with the exact same policies. I mean, Trump's policies and Obama's policies aren't that much different. I mean, hopefully they've reduced the number of kids in cages between those last two presidents of Obama and Trump. But the issue is that we've got to have real change. And if the people that are screaming about change are also screaming, well, we're not going to get that change until we get something else for us, it's despicable to use this as a leverage is really where I'm at with it. If everybody is so up in arms and it is what you call a crisis, then we should be able to get this thing wrapped up.
Is that what it is, though? Is that really truly the purpose of all this? Just political leverage? Besides, like, because you really think about it, like everything else has like an obvious big business kind of reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, war, whatever, deregulation, this or the other thing. But what is the CD back?
Oh, you're saying like what is big immigration?
Yeah.
What is why have it?
Who
The
really
issue,
is it? What a tax?
the issue
manipulation?
is taxes. We have another place that we can pour taxes into. So another group of people who are also reliant on the government to do it. So people who are for big government want more people reliant on it, which I believe in democratic socialism anyway. So so don't come at me and saying, "Well, he doesn't want anybody to have anything." No.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, we should all have the things that we're giving these migrants. And more. We should have education included into that. But that's beside the point. And the issue is that they've always had this as a crudgel for the other administrations. It's another one of those things where we turn around and say, well, if I fix the problem, what can I campaign on anymore? And and Obama has done it. Biden has done it. Even then, Biden has had the majority of this agreement that they're trying to put together already done day one when he came into office. They're just finally getting to the point where they're allowing it to get to the floor. So, but the issue is that they have to keep it that way. It's something they can campaign on either side. Even if they don't keep their promises, they can still come up with a better future for it, because we would much rather talk about the border than talk about the foreign affairs that are going on or the infrastructure that's collapsing here in America to begin with. It's a easier campaign to campaign on an old hat type of issue than it is to actually pull it together. But that's at least where I believe in it. I think it's not necessarily big immigration or what have you. I think it is an issue that both sides get political points on and lose political points on, and that's why they don't want to really clean it up. Coming up, we're going to talk about the FCC, and are you allowed to say that on the air? Oh my goodness. We'll see what Joy Reid has said on MSNBC coming right up. 1590 WCGO, a political talk show. We'll be right back. If you have been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs in Cook County, DuPage County, or Lake County, Illinois, call the law office of Mark Sheblow at 773-775-5050. That's 773-775-5050. Attorney Mark Sheblow has over 29 years of law experience handling DUI defense, traffic violations, CDL violations, and Secretary of State driver's license reinstatement hearings. All aspects of your case will be examined in order to find evidence that may help your case, especially the statutory summary suspension of your driving privileges. If your breath alcohol concentration level at the time of the DUI arrest is 0.08 or more, then the summary suspension of your driver's license begins 46 days after the arrest. Time is a crucial factor in challenging the summary suspension of your driver's license. Our law office is located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. And again, our office phone number is 773-775-5050.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
One smile is great, but one smile in a community of smiles is so much better. A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
I mean, she had a hot mic, and I mean, if she's on MSNBC and she could have hot mics that are oh, wait a minute. Hello. Hi. Welcome. Apolitical Talk Show. Sorry about that behind the scenes moment that we've got there. Welcome back to Apolitical Talk Show. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Joy Reid dropping some F-bombs behind the scenes.
Oh, Nelly.
Oh, my goodness. We've talked about it before here on the show. People do not like war. They don't like it. Most people don't. What is it good for, Ben? Nothing. Nothing. That's Ben Demonium Boquest, our esteemed executive producer, if you don't know. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. Welcome to the show. Joy Reid dropped the F-bomb supposedly against Joe Biden while they were playing a clip. So if you don't understand how TV works or media in general, most of the time they've got things that aren't live. Somebody says a thing right now, live, me saying this is live, unless it's not. It's live right now, according to 1:24 and 35 seconds of the afternoon of Tuesday, January 30th, 2024. To just timestamp that live right now, right? It would be amazing if it wasn't live and I still nailed that, though, right?
Yeah, you just have that inner.
That would be cool.
I feel like that sometimes. We're close. Being radio guys, we just do stuff like we know how much a minute is.
It's true. The boss lady makes me keep time of almost everything at the house.
It works. Smart.
I've got the intros down. You know when you can't skip the intro? Mm-hmm. I'm the Google fast forward 63 seconds and
Nice.
Boom, nails it. That's what I use my superpowers for. But essentially, you've got live stuff and you've got pre-recorded things. Live stuff usually has a face and a microphone like what I've got right now. And you can also watch live Penguins on twitch.tv as well.
Courtesy of San Diego Zoo.
Yeah,
Yes,
San
our
Diego
friends.
Zoo. Thank you very much for providing that feed for us. You look at some penguins swimming around in there, but that's live. That's a live feed, right? The other thing you've got is pre-recorded stuff, clips of things, especially if you are a political show. You usually have clips. Ben and I are just not at that point yet. We will be, hopefully soon. We've got clips here every once in a while, but Joy Reid at MSNBC probably has a team of about 15 people We can also see everything you're doing on the screen there, buddy.
Oh no! Hey, a little behind the scenes.
Little
I
behind
like
the
that.
scenes, right? So that's essentially what happened. Joy Reid, while she was playing a segment
here.
about President Joe Biden, dropped the F-bomb. Now, you could read this pretty much anywhere out there. There's 20 articles already written about it, spanning 25% left, a little bit of center, but a 65% mark on the red side, because this is a blue hat, supposedly, with Joy Reid over at MS, as they call it, MSDNC. But essentially, they have reported that during the President Biden talking about, I believe he was talking about the border during the clip. And she said, behind the scenes, starting another I'm sorry? Starting another effing war. Do you have the clip? Is that what you're trying to pull up?
Yeah, she said it right
Go ahead.
there.
Go ahead and pull it up.
Quickly, and Congress needs to get it done.
Starting another fucking war.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't know what necessarily she was talking about. Obviously, with some of us that read between the lines, she was digging at Biden with what's going on, because Biden has told us in not so uncertain terms. He wasn't cryptic in any kind of way when he was asked this question of, are we going to respond? And what did he say? They asked him, do you have a response?
They said, have you decided how you're going to respond to the attacks? And he said yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it going to be effective?
And he said, we'll see.
We'll see. Exactly. So
Punk.
that's not cryptic in any kind of way of it. But that's the chain. That's the
it's
chain
kind of
of
like-
the world wars.
It's like expecting Bill Belichick to give you an injury update. It's just not going to happen.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to step on it. And no matter what Biden says with the whole, we're negotiating quietly behind the scenes, things like that, this is the issue that we're all running into right now. The economy is now doing better. So we can't turn around and be like, oh, Biden's economy, I'm sorry, your employer isn't paying you more. Person who's turning around and yelling at me right now, because that's what I know you're doing it. Every time anybody says anything about the economy doing better, if you don't have a 401k and watching the stock market, and are not affected by it, you're going to turn around and tell me, no, man, that's BS. I'm still paying the same. Sorry, inflation is inflation. Now, if you want to talk to Biden about that, then you got to talk about monopolies and antitrust and whatever else, because 40% of inflation right now is corporate inflation. How do we have almost every single company on the S&P 500 are making 10-year highs? How can you turn around and tell me that it's inflation and I'm losing money hand and fist, but at the exact same time setting records? Record setting for me, I don't think is not successful.
Yeah, we were supposed to have socialism and high fast food prices.
Right?
Not socialism and high fast food. Come on, man.
And that's where it's all sitting. So the Biden administration, sorry, the economy is doing better. Everybody who wants to blame the Biden administration for it. Gas prices, same thing. I don't think the government necessarily controls gas prices, but if you want a reason for why they are that way, currently right now the United States is making more oil than any other country in history. Again, setting records. Lowest unemployment stretch. Setting records. You want to talk about, hey, Trump had it below 4. Biden has had it below, Trump's below 4, and for longer. So you can't turn around and blame the economy anymore. So you turn around and you blame the border. Or You get us into a ridiculous war that probably shouldn't be around anymore to begin with. So it's ridiculous. Ben, what were you playing? I was talking over it.
No, I'm just going to keep playing that drop under.
Today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly. And Congress
Really,
needs to get
it
it
sneaks
done.
up on you because
Another fucking war.
it's just a hot mic moment right there.
And then they laugh about it.
Yeah, no, this is another podcast which I'm ripping it off of. They're just a bunch of chuckleheads listening to the drop there.
But
so that's them reacting to that.
They let the curtain slip. This isn't just an FCC moment
Yeah,
of
and-
trying to keep things PG-13. She let it slip what she really thinks.
100%. Yeah, and it's not different from what a lot of people are really thinking out there.
Most of us believe that.
Yeah.
Most of us here, and I
Saying
could
what
pull
we're
up
all
a Pew
thinking.
research
Another
that I
fucking war.
read, but I'll just go with the majority of us do not want this war. The majority of us do not want to send our tax dollars out there to a proxy war that is way blown out of proportion than what anything else that we have run into. Now, blown out of proportion, extreme, et cetera, these are all charged words, but they are accurate words. This is much larger of a humanitarian crisis than we have seen anywhere, at least in my lifetime. And this is the issue that we're running into. We can talk about the humanitarian crisis at the border. We can talk about that because we've got control over that. Do you know what else we've got control over? The purse strings of another war. We have control over cutting off that supply line. Look at this as any other country. If all of a sudden Iran started doing this to Israel, what would we say? If Jordan turned around and said the IDF is in my front yard messing around, we have an inherent right to defend ourselves. And Jordan started sending missiles over to downtown cities in Israel. This is where I believe, like we have said, the support has changed. No matter how much this, to quote Noam Chomsky, this manufactured consent is going to get pushed on us, we know what the mainstream media actually thinks, just like the rest of us. Stop it. We do not need another war, yet alone a world war. What do you think about pulling off the veil, Ben? What do you think about that? About broadcasters that say one thing and push one thing, but believe something different?
Right, yeah. I think usually Joy Reid is kind of pushed out there as the kind of fake, left-leaning, almost fake progressive kind of opinion anyway. But I think it makes me wonder if maybe they left those mics open on purpose. You're allowed maybe one F-bomb in your broadcasting career. It's kind of one of those things, going viral. So who knows if that was one of those, but just my speculation there.
You think this is just like a Joe Rogan thing where the producer comes in and says, "Hey, dummy"?
Who knows? Yeah. Not necessarily that, but more so like a promotional type of thing, which would not advise. And, this is just me being goofy and speculating. I have no proof that that's, or even saying that, if someone would consider that not, whatever, prestigious or however you would put it. But who knows? Being a little fun conspiracy theorist that I like fun conspiracies. None of the crazy
Conspiracies that you can see, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you could see somebody hearing that conversation and going, "Okay, well, we need to let some of this leak out."
Yeah.
And them not knowing that she was going to drop an F-bomb in the middle of it.
Right? Like, what if she does that during every break? Joe Biden, this MRF, getting us into
that
all this,
could be it. Wow.
just like putting herself on mute.
I didn't think about that. That could be
talking mess.
Because I know I do
That'd be
as a
hilarious.
producer.
Oh, you got that's the best part of the job.
That's the best part of the job.
you
Is
didn't
muting
know.
your own mic.
If you didn't know, hosts.
It's true. Ben will sit here and mute his mic so he can talk smack about me. Like it is. He'll do it. He'll do it. But that's a great point that you've got there. It does take a team,
Right.
man. So somebody let this slip. Somebody was able to turn that button on and off.
True. Yeah.
Like,
they
did
got
somebody
it.
sit on it? like what's the deal with it?
It's
But
for-
that's
one for the ages, and I think you know, it's as far as what people think, it just goes to show that it's not hard to have these opinions, and it's not hard for the companies to kind of have a different
Down the border
narrative
right
that
now and
they
fix it quickly. And
push
Congress
instead.
needs to get it
you know.
done.
Starting another fucking war.
yeah. Well, the issue is that
It's like
it
some
is-
water coolers sitting around the water. Oh, what's this guy talking about
Start
now?
another
Oh,
one.
come on.
But that's it. Is my thing is that this is the rare emotion that comes behind it. You know, we with the mainstream media, they've got this narrative, they've got this story, they've got these people that write this. Joy Reid didn't do all of this research and then write up her own talking points. Now, she probably helped in writing those and saying, hey, I want to hit on this, or isn't this an angle to do it when you go into the writer's room? But for the most part, just like ESPN, it's here's the news, let's talk about it for the next 7-8 hours the exact same way until new news comes in about it. And it just keeps going and going and going. So they already had what they were going to talk about before. I think she really wanted to talk about more than just the border. The border's the hot topic right now, but I think she really wanted to dive more into what's happening over in Israel and Gaza. So that it was a weird peek into the reality of these are real people. This isn't just some AI robot that's just delivering everything to you. This is a real person that has to physically move their body to deliver those sounds into a microphone. So this isn't just, the algorithm messed up. This is the real life, hey, this is what I believe leaking out. And you're going to get those, viral a lot more often, as they should. We want the truth. We want your real feelings. As Shepard Book from Firefly says, I don't care what you believe in, just believe it. That's where we'd have to put it from there, is we all have a message, we all have a job, we all have something that we do to keep that job and to keep that moving. But when the truth really comes out, the truth is going to resound. The truth will set you free. Whatever other truth
is out there.
Isms you've got, the truth is out there. That's right. And that's the thing, is I've heard it even put, there are a million lies out there, but there is only one truth. So that's essentially what we got to peek under the hood. MSNBC, Joy Reid dropping the F-bomb about starting
Good one.
another effing war.
Yeah, I like it. A little saucy there.
It is. Coming up, we will do some more headlines here and there. We've got Trump and the E. Jean Carroll side finally came up to the right number, or at least the number the jury agreed on. A political talk show. Is your Illinois driver's license suspended? Your driving privileges are important to your livelihood. You need your driver's license to drive to work, get the kids to school, or go shopping. Your driving privileges are crucial for your lifestyle. If your driver's license is suspended, call attorney Mark Sheblow at 773-775-5050 to begin procedures to have your driver's license reinstated by the Illinois Secretary of State's office. That phone number for Mark Sheblow is 773-775-5050. Mark Sheblow is an attorney with over 29 years of experience. Call him today at 773-775-5050. Visit his website at shiblolawoffice.com. That's SCIBLO lawoffice.com.
Riverwalk Counseling Center of Naperville understands taking the first step towards better emotional and mental health can be hard. Finding the right therapy doesn't have to be. Here's a short list of Riverwalk counseling services that you can rely upon to help get your life back on track. Alcohol addiction, couples and individual therapy, depression and anxiety, family counseling, gambling, interventions, postpartum issues. Riverwalk Counseling Center is located in Naperville, Illinois at 710 East Ogden Avenue. For more information, visit them online at riverwalkcounseling.net.
Why? Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my family.
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for my students.
We see say for each other.
I see safe because all of this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we're all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
Is your Illinois driver's license suspended? Your driving privileges are important to your livelihood. You need your driver's license to drive to work, get the kids to school, or go shopping. Your driving privileges are crucial for your lifestyle. If your driver's license is suspended, call attorney Mark Shiblo at 773-775-5050 to begin procedures to have your driver's license reinstated by the Illinois Secretary of State's office. That phone number for Mark Shiblo is 773-775-5050. Mark Shiblo is an attorney with over 29 years of experience. Call him today at 773-775-5050. Visit his website at shiblolawoffice.com. That's SCIBLO lawoffice.com. Welcome back to A Political Talk Show on 1590 WCGO, brought to you by the Multi-Format Network. Go ahead and go out into the internet world and look up Multi-Format Network. You'll find us all over the place, and you may even find A Political Talk Show sneaking around in the back reaches of the URLs. If you already are in the searching mood, go to your favorite podcasting platform and type in A Political Talk Show. You'll find us. We're the generic purple logo because that's the way we like to be, generic and purple. I want my politics to be dull again. I want to hire as many bean counters and stuffed shirts as we can possibly fill the Congress. That's what I'm after, and you should be after it too. We don't need clowns out there anymore. Go and hire a birthday clown if that's what you want to do, and have them pretend to be your congressperson. But let's kind of get some better candidates out there in the world.
Yeah, think a Bob Dole or like
yeah,
the Dodd fella who was around. Dodd, you remember?
I don't want to know anybody else's state's congressperson.
Yeah.
I want to focus on my own. I want to focus here on Illinois, which, by the way, Illinois, Trump stays on the ballot in Illinois as the election board declines to ban him over insurrection amendment. Now, we talked a little bit about Joy Reid. Joy Reid had a had a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer, on. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was a doctor, and he said the Supreme Court is probably not going to step into the running aspect of Trump, keeping him off the ballot. Here's what he said, was that he thinks that the Supreme Court is going to wait until the question is, can he serve?
Got it.
That's a different question. So the question that everybody's putting on right now, 14th Amendment says he can't be president, can't serve as president.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything about being elected president.
Right.
So that opens up for me a much larger can of worms, because then every person who's under the age of 35 can run for president.
Wait,
Cenk Uygur can run for president. Now, serve as president, that's a whole nother thing. So if we start opening that can of worms, everybody with a felony can turn around and run for president. Every single foreign national can run for president. Now you're opening up a big old can of worms. What if all of a sudden Boris Johnson says, you know what? If I'm just allowed to run for president, why don't I just turn around and get enough support behind it? Then I can be the cult of personality that's over there.
Just as a defense for being able to do whatever.
Yes. So if the question is that he's not necessarily allowed to serve as president, but he's still allowed to run for president, then all of the other disqualifications are null for the running. I can win. I could win the election, but as far as serving as it, he brought that up as a caveat of saying they're probably not going to step into the actual ballots, but they'll go into who can serve.
Kind of makes sense. Think of the whole obvious the power grab and power structure, and even the direct quotes from the Supreme Court saying that there's effectively no check that the executive branch has on them, and being really like it's kind of their flex to be like, yeah, we'll control basically the policy and what Biden can do. We'll repeal Roe v. Wade under his watch and all this stuff. There's nothing he can do. And then we're not going to stop democracy from happening, but we do hold the power to say, this is to not be able to serve. So it's that the scary checks and balances of our system. But to the credit of the system, there's checks and balances, not just one person, one side or anything. Even the Supreme Court is still, though it's been, you might say, stacked in the recent years, it's still split to some degree. There's varying political opinions, which they're supposed to be objective to anyway, evidence to the contrary recently. But yeah, the whole power trip angle of it, it's kind of that is another thing to consider, I would say.
And without the uniformity of a federal voting act, that's the other side of it too, is this isn't just a federal issue where the Supreme Court gets to step in and say, hey, no state, you get to do this or you get to do that. It's like, well, hold on a second. State sovereignty and the state constitution decides how we elect our stuff. Essentially, even with the Electoral College, each state comes up with a way to fill that Electoral College. It's not just, okay, you won the popular vote, so therefore you get it. The state could turn around and say whoever wins the national popular vote is who gets our delegates. So the state is the one that actually decides how those delegates are sent out, which is where the whole coup side of it, of putting up fake electors, because it doesn't matter how those electors got there What matters is that those are the ones that put their vote in.
Yeah.
And if it's state law that we draw it out of a hat,
Jelly beans.
then or jelly beans,
Like, how
that's
many-
state law. It doesn't matter what it is. So the Supreme Court coming in and telling a state you have to keep this person on the ballot is a whole nother thing, where then you could turn around as Donald Trump or anybody who's left off the ballot able to go in and sue the actual state itself. Then that would go up to the Supreme Court. But and that's essentially what's happening. But as far as the law of the land in Maine, it's a single person. In Colorado, it had to be the state Supreme Court. So there's different people and different entities that are all deciding these things. It's not just a flat side. Other bad news for Donald Trump. Well, I guess that's good news, keeping on the Illinois side. Good news to you. We want democracy, but we don't want dictators. But fine line. That's how you keep dictators out, is with a democracy. So there you go. Let's talk about the eye-popping $83.3 million. I call it eye-popping because of the Bulwark. That's where I pulled this article from. Bulwark, surprisingly, right side, but they are right side anti-Trump. So,
okay.
So if you want to just kind of feel out this
Haley
publication. The Bulwark is actually a really good factual. I believe they're factual. Now, by all means, the grade is a little bit different for them as far as Ad Fontes or anything else comes on. I do think they embellish, and that could be why their factuality is mixed. I also think that they don't follow up with corrections. I think that's another hit that you get on it. So sloppy work, you're not going to get as much factuality of it, but it's mixed factuality, and there's nothing more else that I can say about the $83.3 million that has come down for E. Jean Carroll. That is facts that are out there in the world. To recap, they also brought in more facts. Trump was found responsible in 2023 for sexually assaulting and defaming Carroll. That verdict precluded him by collateral estoppel from claiming innocence in the second trial. So what that means in regular layman's terms is in this second defamation trial, he was not allowed to claim that the first trial was wrong. As far as it stands, the first trial, which was a jury trial, a civil jury trial, has found him guilty of sexually assaulting and defaming Carroll. And I believe that first trial ended up with $5 million of defamation and restitution back to Carroll.
Well, that's quite a jump up.
Yes, this second one, essentially, that's what the judge has said. He said, you have to put a price tag on this man to stop him from doing it again. By the way, 2
Everyone's
days
got a
later,
price.
2 days later, he broke it. So,
Well, he's
what
been
is it-
good since, hasn't he?
what
I've
does
seen-
$83.3 million buy you? 2 days. 2 days is what it buys you.
No, didn't he? I thought he stopped.
No, what he did was he posted an article about how it was unfair. I don't believe he said it directly, but he shared the file. So, I mean, I don't know. They're not going to hold him in contempt of court and all this other craziness for that. But you're right. He did slow down with it. He just lets everybody else say it.
Yeah, I think they actually hit him with something that, that matters to him. $83 million on top of 5.
Hit him in the wallet, man. Because the other thing is even during this appeal, he cannot get out without posting some sort of payment for it. Now, he can appeal it. He can appeal the number, etc., but he has to come up with cold, hard cash to appeal. I don't know what that exact number is, but I'm sure it's in the millions.
Buy my coins. Buy these coins.
Yep. So
gold.
Feel free for another suit jacket of this is when they the verdict came out. This is the suit I was wearing when I stormed out of the closing arguments.
Yeah, here's a little snippet of my suit from the Epstein photographs.
The issue is that
You know the photographs.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, the photographs and everything. He's got the little suit squares or whatever, like it's a jersey.
The 90s fashion.
Look, man. Like I ain't gonna hurt somebody or dog on somebody for trying to get a buck. You know what I mean? You're trying to get a buck. If somebody's gonna buy a dumb suit piece, let them buy a dumb suit piece. This is
Right.
capitalism, sir. You want to spend your money on frivolous garbage? Sure.
Yeah,
By all means, welcome to it. Now, are you going to lie about why you have this frivolous garbage? Am I going to lie about how we got this frivolous garbage? No. Stop being a jerk. Let's say the truth and go from there. It's like me turning around and selling replicas as the full thing.
At this point, every piece of his merch should be centered around paying my legal bills.
That's it. That's essentially what he's doing. So if you
honest.
donate to Trump, that's what you paid for. This $83.3 million, that's you. Same
Really?
thing with the border wall that you paid for. You know what I mean? It's the same. It's this.
When you're giving money to politicians, though, like, really, what
Yes.
are they using? It's so cyclical, and, like, you're just paying for travel. Like, we could get so much more done by not spending this money or spending it on the actual things that we need.
Well,
Oh,
and if
God.
that's why, but I'm with you on that. But that's where I want this crowdfunding to go. I think the only income that you should get as a politician should be crowdfunding at a maximum of $1,000. That's it. You want to get a 1,000 people to give you $1,000? Cool. Do it that way. But after that, there should be a person, and even then, you want to turn around and talk about corporations or people too? Cool, $1,000. That's it. Now make you play more games to get this thing out, because the more hoops I've got to make you jump through to give money to a politician, the more records there are of you giving money to a politician. So let's do it. Let's take dark money out and make it all clean. Let me see that clean money. Let me see where it goes. Then we'll be able to have news reports about that. But essentially, with this second trial with him, and what really got his gourd was that he could not say that the last trial was false. That's part of the defamation, is that you keep saying these things and we keep going, stop lying. We have to sue you again to get you to stop lying. So that's where it all ended up with it. Now, what they're trying to do now to give you the strategy of Alina Habba found that Carol's lawyer served under a law firm that the judge used to be a partner of. The judge was a partner for about 2 years while she was like a paralegal or something, and then went off. But it's the same thing. Like anybody in any industry runs into other people who live in the area in that industry. Like even working at McDonald's as like a kid, I knew who worked at the other McDonald's like 6 blocks down the road. Like,
True, yeah.
Like that's just the way it works. So they're trying to pull this together. Well, and if that's the deal, then everybody should be able to get off with that. Throw the whole trial. They worked together in 1974. Anyway, thanks for listening again. Thanks for being part of it. Again, search us out there in the world, a political talk show, multi-format network, 1590 WCGO. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again. WCGO 1590 AM, W240EH 95.9 FM, Evanston, Chicago.